Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday with Lovonya here, doing some emotional intelligence, as Patter like to call it. I don't know. I don't know about the intelligence part. I think emotions just want to be felt. And it's usually when our intelligence gets involved and tries to analyze everything, that's when I see things get stuck for people. While emotions, when they're just being experienced and they're just being witnessed, and then they tend to go on their own. So today we're going to do a little group process, and we'll first do some general clearing, letting goes of things that might be in the way. But what I would like you to put some thought into is, I mean, we're all human beings and we all, got conditioned through our past, and growing up as little children, we develop certain traits. And I think I can say for sure for me, certain traits I really love, while there are other ones that I say, yeah, that doesn't serve me that much anymore. And I would really like to take that energy and move that into traits that really do serve, myself and the world and the interaction with other people. So while we have some time here before we start the process, because I want to create some space for people that might be joining late, I just want you to just put some thought into it. Like, what are the traits about yourself that you really love and that you say, like, yeah, I want to amplify those. These are really good traits. And then there might be things that you say, like, yeah, I don't want to give that much energy anymore, right? One of the things for me is like I like to procrastinate. That's just like, that's just part, and I just put things off. And that's, one of the traits that really doesn't serve me that much. I mean, there's a difference between allowing yourself for things to fall into natural order and that things take care of itself when the time is right. But there's also those times when, like, hey, I should be doing this right now, but for whatever reason, I'm holding off on it, right? That's just an example of, like, one of the character traits that you might have, and there might be other ones. Some people might have difficulty with patience, right? Others, just go through your own, when you think about yourself, and when you hear that voice in your head, when you say, like, oh gosh, why am I that way? Or why am I doing that way? Or why am I that way towards other people? Just kind of make a little mental list of what it is that you would like to change. And then obviously there's also the things that you really love about yourself in the way you show up for others, right? And just make a mental note of those two, because what we're going to do today in this process, I mean, we're first going to go through this, like, general negativity clearing, which a lot of you have already done, and it's something you cannot do enough. It's like taking a shower and just washing everything off that doesn't necessarily serve you. It's the same way, but for your emotional body. And so we'll start in the gray room, which many of you are very familiar with, which is the gray room is an amazing construct. I know many of you had an amazing success with it, and great results with it. The beauty of that process is that, not only do you release the things that you're consciously aware of that are holding you back, but it's also the things that you might not be consciously aware of. And that's the great thing, because your subconscious mind knows. And one of the reasons I'm asking you to tune into this now is because it will go into the process, right? And I think in one of the next calls, I'll probably teach you how to easily put yourself into a trance for affirmations, to where they really go much deeper into your subconscious mind. And the secret about that is, oh, I see Marcia giving me a thumbs up, so maybe we'll do that on the next call. And it's a really powerful way to get certain affirmations, really get them into your subconscious mind. Now, most people do this the wrong way because they will put themselves into a trance or into a different state of consciousness where you have access to your subconscious mind. And then you go like, okay, what do I want to put in my subconscious mind? And the issue with that is that then you pull yourself out of that deepened state of consciousness where you have access, because now you're engaging the conscious mind. And the way I've learned it is like you do it before you go into trance. And I'll show you that in a different call, which is really you prime your subconscious mind, and then poof, then you drop into trance, and then it will just naturally work that way. And I think some of you have had this experience to where I ask you beforehand, what are some of the things that you want to change? And we do it before we go into the process. And what do you know? You come out of the process and I ask you to think about those things. And some people are, I couldn't even think about it anymore what it was. Luckily, I had it written down. It just somehow resolved, right? This is really because like the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind takes over. This is also, and I'm going to keep reiterating this because I brought it up, numerous times, and you cannot hear this enough. This is why it's so important. Like we go into those altered states all day long, right? When you might be daydreaming and all of a sudden you're in a different state of consciousness. And it happens for sure every day before you fall asleep. So that's why I say you should never fall asleep if you're worrying about something. Because guess what your subconscious mind is going to repeat for the next 6, 7, or 8 hours? It's whatever the last thought was, right? So that's why for me, doing these types of processes or even affirmations or doing some of your self-trance work before you fall asleep is really powerful. It's a way of harnessing those states that you naturally go into. It happens when you fall asleep, right? You naturally go into these deeper states of consciousness. So know whatever you're focused on, the subconscious mind gets programmed in two ways, determines how quickly it gets programmed. One is repetition, and the second one is emotional amplitude. The more emotion you put into it, the deeper the imprint goes. So for those of you that are getting more advanced with these processes, pay attention before you go to sleep. If you have a natural tendency, like so many of us, we're all human beings, and you worry a lot before you go to sleep, do a process like this. Take a recording, and actually, with this gray room process, I did it for 30 days straight, every night. I would do that as I fall asleep, and oftentimes, like Patter, I didn't even make it through the whole process. Doesn't matter. Your subconscious mind is still paying attention. The other thing that's really valuable, and I did this for a long time, is like as you wake up, you come out of these deeper states of consciousness into the waking state. And I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but you wake up and poof, all of a sudden there's this thing that you've been worrying about, and it's right there. One of the things you can do is, rather than just getting up right away and trying to move on with your day, just lay there while you have access to a deeper state of your own consciousness and do some of these processes. Like what I do is I like to just, I wake up and I just like to lie still, and something bubbles up from deep within me. Sometimes it's a fear or something that I'm worried about or whatever. If you can do a process right there, it's like doing it in a trance state, because you're naturally already in that state. And too often we're just like, okay, I just woke up, I just got to get up and moving. And we basically, we don't take advantage of this beautiful natural window that we go through every morning. So all the processes that are in your membership section, like the gray room, but there's also the magic frame and the spinning and the color breeding. These are all processes that allow you to transform those energies while you're still in this deeper state without even having to go into a trance. So pay attention to that and really be mindful of those two windows. If you can master those, like those last moments before you actually fall asleep, and those first moments when you wake up and coming to a resolution on certain things, or setting, or even, hey, you might be waking up happy, right? If you can just set your intention there for what it is for the day, it goes in really deeply, and it's a way to put your subconscious mind to work for what you want in your life. Because some of us really, I mean, I'm not going to say we abuse our subconscious mind, but it's not working for us, right? If we're worrying right as we fall asleep, or it's the first thing we do when we wake up, we're programming that into our subconscious mind. And then what we go is we get to the waking state, and we start with our daily routines and whatever it is, but guess what's still running underneath of it? So I can highly recommend taking advantage of these natural shifts in our consciousness throughout the day. Does anybody have any questions about that? Or okay, cool. All right, Nikki, you're new, right? Welcome. Just the thing about these processes, you just follow along. And don't get in your head about it, and don't worry about it, and just follow along. And when I say, act it out and reach out, the more we engage our body into it, the more powerful it becomes. The way I was taught in hypnosis is not you're just laying there and somebody's telling you something, but it's actually when we engage the body into the process, it makes it more real, and we're affecting all the layers of our consciousness. We're just not working on the mental layer, because we're working with the feelings, and then we're working with the body. Actually, in the body, all of our subconscious beliefs, all that is stored in places in our body. It's like the hard drive where you have the point that is the access point all the way from the body into the emotional and then the mental layers and the subconscious mind. So just follow along and just play with it. Just have fun with it, right? Too often times we're just so serious and it really gets in the way. Why do children learn so quickly, right? Because they're playful, right? And that's why their brain is also so malleable. When we get serious and we have to do it, that's all like behavior that we learned from our environment and authority figures at a young age, but it really doesn't serve us. I mean, I've been really lucky to work with, true masters, Taoists and from other traditions. And one thing I've noticed, they're all super playful. They're like little children, right? And I think that's a pretty big key there. The more playful you can be, the better it goes. The other thing is, like, you always go with your first impression. When I ask you what color is this, you go with that first impression, and many of you have had this experience that then the conscious mind comes in and it's like, no, it can't be yellow, it has this. No, you go with that first impression. You can't get it wrong, because the unconscious mind always answers first, and it answers truthfully, right? But then the second guessing that's coming in, that's your conscious mind. That's not where the power lies. The power lies with the subconscious mind. It's also the key to intuition. Intuition is typically not that loud voice in your head. It's much more subtle, and it always like comes first. I'll tell you how I learned the intuition part. It was from a guy in Cincinnati, and he was a a well-known psychic, and he had like over 30,000 customers, and he never advertised. And I went to study with him, and what he had us do, he would give us 6 cards, 6 black and 6 red, and you just hold your hand over it, you get your ego out of the way, and you ask, what color is this? And you go with that first impression. And you'll see, you'll do more than 6 out of 12 right off the bat. Like after like 3 or 4 tries, I was like 12 out of 12, to where even for me, I was absolutely baffled. I was like, holy moly, I didn't even know that I could do this. So that's a good exercise you can do also to learn to tune into that. Just get a deck of cards and then just feel the color and ask it and go with that first impression. You'll truly be amazed because your subconscious mind knows. It is not bound in space and time like your conscious mind. Our conscious mind has this linearity. It's not that way for the subconscious mind. So just go with your first impression, learn how to trust that, and know that you cannot screw this up. The only way you can screw this up is if you let, the conscious mind take over and have that self-doubt. Okay, so these are just some tips. So yeah, let's get started. Let me change the view here so I can easily see all of you. There we go. He's already going. All right, everyone. So just put your feet flat on the floor, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let that breath out with a sigh. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take, with every beat of your heart. Any sounds you hear besides the sounds of my voice, or simply the sounds of a busy environment, or trains of thought moving in and out, they simply move you deeper and deeper. Now take another deep breath and focus all of the attention on the lids of your eyes, and then let that breath out with a sigh. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. All I want you to do is relax and let go. You can shift and move and change posture, anything that makes you more comfortable and that allows you to go deeper and deeper into a wonderful state of relaxation, a wonderful state of focus, absorption, and attention. And it's not necessary to trance out completely, it's just necessary to relax, have fun, and play pretend. So what I'd like you to do next is to focus all of your attention on the lids of your eyes and begin to relax those tiny muscles in your eyelids, relaxing them so fully, so completely, more and more relaxed with every breath you take and every beat of your heart, making them so relaxed that you couldn't actually open them up without putting more tension into them. And when you know you've got them that relaxed, so relaxed they just won't work, give them a little test just to be sure. And when it's done, stop testing. Now let that level of relaxation flow all the way from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. Just double and triple that sense of relaxation, of connection, of being able to play pretend and interface with another level of your awareness. A level of awareness where anything you can intend, anything you can act out, anything you can imagine must become true and real for you in all the very best of ways. Going deeper and deeper still with every breath you take, every beat of your heart. That's right, you're doing great. Now in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to imagine the alphabet backwards, starting with the letter Z. And all I'd like you to do with every breath that you take is to allow those letters to be relaxed so completely from your mind. Allow them to become smaller and darker and harder to see. Turn that volume down, all the way down, down, down. And just allow it to take place, or just let those letters go completely. They can come back later, but for right now, all I want you to do is play pretend and have some fun. And when they're all gone, just let me know by nodding your head with honest and unconscious movement so we can move on to the next part of the process. Beautiful. And if for any reason the letters have not yet disappeared, don't worry, because they'll leave as I continue to talk with you. And as we are doing this process as a group, know that some of you process more quickly and others more slowly, and that's totally normal. Everybody moves at their own pace. Just follow along and know that if you heard my suggestions, so has your other than conscious mind. And your other than conscious mind will keep processing these suggestions and ensure the process is complete at your own pace. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 5 to 1. And as I count from 5 to 1, you'll even deepen this state. You'll go even deeper and deeper still. And no matter how far inside you travel, no matter how deep inside you go, you'll always be able to hear my words. That's right. Beautiful. 5, going down, drifting, dreaming, floating, deeper and deeper still. Number 4, down, down, down. 3, going even deeper and deeper still. 2, and 1. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I want you to use that amazing imagination of yours. And I want you to imagine yourself standing in a hallway, and there is a door in front of you. And this door is the most perfect door you can imagine. The door that if you could design the door that was right for you, it's the most perfect door on the planet. And when you're ready, all I want you to do is reach out and touch the opening device. That's right. And when you're ready, let's just go inside and close the door behind us. And when we look around, we find ourselves in a really cool place, a familiar place. A dome-shaped room with pearly gray walls. It's kind of like being inside of a large gray egg. And in the center of this room, you see this beautiful circular fireplace with this beautiful roaring fire. And as the fire, you notice it crackles and rises up of that fireplace, it bathes you with a warmth and energy that sustains and nourishes you. It's like every cell in your body starts to open up, like the bloom of a flower, to drink in that amazing energy, giving your mind, your body, and your spirit everything it most wants and everything it most needs in an infinite, ever expanding, and unlimited supply. And every part of your mind feels nurtured, nourished, cared for in all the right ways. Now, as you look around in this room, you notice that on the wall are what look like colored squares. And a part of you instinctively realizes that one set of squares, they represent all the awesome things about you, all the things that make you feel strong and confident, worthy and deserving, unstoppable in every way. The things you consciously remember, the things you consciously understand, but more importantly, the things you unconsciously remember, the things you unconsciously understand, the secret strengths and attributes and abilities and beliefs that activate when you need to bring your A game. That's right. These things activate and make you unbeatable and unstoppable. Things you consciously remember, things you consciously understand, and more importantly, the things you unconsciously remember, the things you unconsciously understand. Now, those other sets of squares, they represent all that other stuff, all the things that make you feel less than confident, less than worthy, less than deserving. The things that hold you back, make you feel bad about yourself in any way, shape, or form. Things that cause you to say the things you don't want to say, or the things you don't want to do. Or as is often the case, to not say the things you know you need to say, or to not do the things you know you need to do. They're on that wall too. Things you consciously remember, things you consciously understand, and of course, the things you unconsciously remember, the things you unconsciously understand. Now, one thing is certain. about everything on that wall, whether it's something that makes you feel awesome or something you want to get rid of. If it's on that wall, it's already been vetted by your unconscious mind to be cleared, to be passed for removal or change in whatever way you desire. That's right. And what I'd like you to do now is I'd just like you to go to one of those colored squares that represents a less than positive belief, memory, or experience. And I'd like you to reach out with your dominant hand. I'd like you to go ahead and touch one of those squares that represents a less than positive belief, memory, or experience. So go ahead and touch that for me. That's right. And notice that there is a place in your body where that feeling starts that's connected to that square. Go ahead and point to it with your other hand. That's right. Now go ahead and rip that square off the wall and crumple it up in your hands. And as you crumple it up in your hands, notice that feeling starting to shift, to merge, to dissolve, to lose all of the impact on your life forever. That's right. Solve and resolve and dissolve from your mind. Solve and resolve and dissolve from your body for all the right reasons. And when you are ready, go ahead and throw it in the fire. Whoosh, whoosh. Feel that energy. Feel that release. Feel that energy rising up, washing over you, around you, and through you. Feel that energy of that fire go into that space where that old stuff used to be and put in its place everything you most want, need, and desire instead. That's right. Take all the time you need to notice that process taking place and let it resolve itself completely. And when you know it's done, test it. Try to bring it back and notice what happens instead. That's right. Then come back. Excellent. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, I want you to reach out with your hand and find another one of those squares that represent a less than positive belief, memory, or experience. Reach out and touch it for me. That's right. Then notice where in your body you feel it. And now rip that square right off the wall. That's right. Crumple it up. Feel it breaking and dissolving and losing all its impact over your life forever. Solve, resolve, and dissolve from your mind. Solve, resolve, and dissolve from your body for all the right reasons. That's right. And when you are ready, into the fire it goes. Whoosh, whoosh. Feel the rush. Feel the release. Feel those energies, wave after wave of that energy washing over you, around you, bathing you, nourishing you, and giving you everything you most want and need and desire instead. Things you're consciously aware of and things you're unconsciously aware of. Just feel that process taking place. That's right. You're doing great. And when you know it's completely done, test it. Try to bring it back. And then notice what happens instead. Beautiful. And when you're ready, I want you to reach out with your dominant hand and touch another one of those squares. That's right. And when you're ready, notice where you feel it in your body and I rip it off the wall, crumple it up. That's right. Feel it losing its impact over your mind, body, and spirit forever. And when you're ready to finally get rid of it, boom, into the fire it goes. That's right. Feel that flame from the fire rising up. Feel that energy double in size and strength, double in force and magnitude. Feel it dissolving, resolving from your mind, solving, dissolving from your body forever. That's right. And then feel everything you most want and need and desire instead flowing into those areas, soothing, nurturing, comforting, healing everything you most want and need and desire instead. That's right. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, it's time to demonstrate your power. It's time to take control. It's time to show your neurology what you wanted to do. And I want you to go at your own pace through every nook and cranny of this room. And I want you to find every less than positive belief, memory, or experience symbolized by those colored squares. That's right. And I want you to go through the process we just did. I want you to rip that stuff off the wall, crumple it up, Throw it in the fire and feel the transformation. That's right. And then just test it to be sure. Great. So go through this room, every less than positive square, touch it, notice where you feel it in your body, rip it off the wall, crumple it up, and into the fire it goes. That's right. Just go through every single square on that wall. Know that if it's on that wall, that's right. It's already been vetted by your other than conscious mind to be transformed. There you go, Elena. Beautiful. That's right. Yeah, Marcia, you got it. I also want you to pay attention. You might want to lift up some of those positive squares because sometimes that stuff gets misfiled and kind of hides under one of those positive squares. So make sure you go and have a look under that. Make sure none of those are misfiled. That's right. You're doing great. That's right, Megan. Crumple it up. Beautiful. Into the fire it goes. Yes, Elena, behind you. That's right. Sometimes these things are behind us. And I just want you to feel the release. Every square that goes into the fire, just feel the rush of that fire flooding into your mind and flooding your body. That's right. Beautiful. Just keep going. Take all the time you need. You guys got this. Beautiful. Be thorough and make sure you test it. Try to bring it back and notice what happens instead. And feel the rush. Every time a square goes into that fire, that flame just doubles in size and strength, doubles in force and magnitude. That's right. And all that energy just comes flowing back into you. That's right. Keep going. And if you like to get some help with this and speed up the process, feel free to call in the perfect help for you. One guy, he just brings in a flamethrower. He just torches the whole room. I have children that bring in a magic wand. I have people that bring in their spirit animals. Whatever you want, just bring in the help. I like to call in my ancestors sometimes, realizing some of this stuff on that wall really ain't even mine. So if they're willing to help, just call them in. Whatever help is the perfect help for you, call them in and have them help you. That's right. You're doing great. And notice how good you start to feel as all these old energies are solving and dissolving and resolving from your body, solving and dissolving and resolving from your mind for all the right reasons. That's right. Keep going. Love your smile, Marcia. That's right. You got this. Beautiful. And when there are no less than positive squares left, just nod your head with honest and unconscious movement to let me know it's complete and we can move on to the next part of your process. That's right, Nikki. Good job. Beautiful. Excellent. And I want you to scan your body and notice how different you feel. And I want you to notice how as soon as that last color square went into that fire, something really amazing started to happen. All those remaining squares, all that ones that represent all the best of you, notice how they begin to glow with an inner radiance, an inner fire brighter than the sun. And notice how all these squares are starting to grow, begin to expand and blend into one another, filling the entire room like a massive, glowing, unstoppable wallpaper, flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit, flooding your soul with everything that is the very best of you. All the things that make you feel strong and confident, worthy and deserving. Notice how you can feel that energy floating into your mind and floating into your spirit. And take all the time, just drink that energy in more and more with every breath you take until it becomes so strong, so powerful that it's impossible to turn it off. That's right. Just drink it in an infinite, ever expanding and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got it, when you know it's locked in, test it. Try to turn it off. Try to go back to the old you and then notice what happens instead. That's right. Beautiful. Now, as you're doing this, you notice a click somewhere in the room. Another door opened up. Now, I just want you to look around where that door opened up for you. And I just want you to move over there and go towards that door. That's right. And you see that door is opened up. And what I'd like you to do, I would just like you to walk through that door. That's right. And you find yourself inside. And on the horizon is a beautiful garden. And I want you to start walking up to the gate to this garden. And use that amazing imagination of yours. And I want you to imagine that you're standing in front of the gate to this beautiful garden. And if you were to design a garden, make it perfect place to spend time in solitude and serenity, a place where you can actually get in touch with yourself. If you designed it, this would be the perfect garden for you. That's right. Beautiful. And as you look around and as you walk into this garden, I just want you to walk inside and I want you to notice that there are like statues in this garden. And the statues are in different sizes and shapes. And they all have this inner glow, an inner glow that radiates an energy. And that glow lets you know how much energy is stored in that part of your personality. Now, in a moment, not yet, but just a moment, we're going to walk up to one of those statues. And they come in various sizes and shapes. And as you'll notice, some of them are very small and very dim, while others are very big and very bright. And you notice that as you look at all these statues, I want you to look at the bottom of them. And it's like they have a battery pack at the base. It's like one of those battery packs that you can plug in or you can remove it, just like one of those old camcorders or a power tool. And when you remove it, ooh, it powers down. And when you put the battery pack in, whoop, it fires up. And I also want you to notice that some of these statues have little plaques that tell you what there are. Some aspects of your personality that are positive, and other aspects of your personality that are not so positive. And what I want you to do now is I want you to reach out and I want you to touch one of these statues that represent a great, wonderful, powerful, and strong aspect of yourself. Something that you're very proud of, something that you enjoy and that you really like about yourself. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to reach out and touch that statue and feel a ripple of electricity and just feel this intensity flowing into you. And you can feel that part of you becoming better, brighter, and stronger as that part activates within you. You can sense it. That's right. Just let it flow. Let it saturate your body and take a few minutes to really enjoy it so you can understand and feel that power and experience it for yourself. Beautiful. Good job, Elena. And when you are ready, I want you to reach out and find another aspect. An aspect of yourself that isn't quite so positive. Something that if you take the energy out of it and put it somewhere that's more useful, you might want to do that. And I want you to reach out and feel that energy and notice where in your body you feel that. That's right. And when you're ready, I want you to reach down into the base and pull that battery pack out. Just pull it out. Boom. And you can feel it drain away. And the part of you that's not so positive just begins to dim. It begins to go away because there's no energy left to sustain it. And in your hand, you feel this energy, you feel this power in the battery, and you realize how it has an energy for you to use whatever you want to use it for. And then all I want you to do is find one of the aspects of yourself that you really, really like, that really, really works for you. And notice that each of those statues have additional battery slots. And I just want you to find one that you really, really like, that you want to have more of. Just walk over it, take that battery pack, and click it right into one of those slots. And feel it power up. That's right. All of a sudden, an energy, a color fires through your body, and it begins to spin faster and faster, bigger and brighter. And that part of your personality amplifies and it grows and it spins faster and faster as it permeates all throughout your mind, all throughout your body. And you see the world differently as this part of your personality becomes 100 times stronger, supported, amplified, and magnified by this energy. That's right. And you feel amazing. You feel incredibly, it just keeps getting better and better. Each and every time your heart beats, it just doubles and triples in size and strength. It doubles and triples in intensity, rewiring your entire internal environment in such a way that you only feel better about yourself. You feel more empowered, more capable, more of everything you ever wanted, more like who you've always wanted to be. That's right. And you realize just how simple this process is and how profound the changes are that it makes. Right. All what you can do now is you can simply stay in one place, and all those statues are just going to come to you in the order and sequence in which you want to change. You can find the things that don't serve you. You find the things that held you back, the aspects of your personality that you want to let go of. And all you do is you pull that battery pack out. Boom. That's right. And just feel them power down. And then you can take that battery pack and put it in another part of you, a part of you that you want more of, and that you can feel more empowered through. And then just feel it power up. Woo! That's right. You can feel the spin. You can feel all of the systems coming online, becoming more and more activated, more and more empowered in every way. So just go ahead and reach out. Grab those batteries from all the statues that no longer serve you and just take those resources and use them to empower all the things you really love about yourself. Realizing that each and every time you pull the energy out of one of those old behaviors, they have less and less hold over you and you're more and more free. That's right, Elena, you're doing great. Enjoy it. Physically reach out, pull the battery pack out, and then slam it into another statue and notice the change. That's right, you can enjoy it. Notice the parts of you that are shifting and changing because your nervous system is rewiring, changing your perceptions. That's right, that's good. There you go. Reach in, boom, power down. Find that statue that you want and slam it in there. Power it up. Ooh, that's right. Beautiful. And notice and feel yourself grow 10 times taller, 10 times broader, taking up 10 times more space, seeing the world from this new perspective, this new persona, realizing that you have the power, you have the control, and that you are free in a whole new way because you've learned how it works and you can make it yours and you can own this ability. Just go through and then notice if there's anything else you want to change. And just keep pulling those battery packs out and keep reallocating them and put them in all the parts of your personality that you really love. And every time you slam that battery pack into one of those parts of your personality that you love, just feel it power up, feel the rush, feel the energetics of it, and realize that it happened. That's right. Just keep going. Beautiful. And by the way, if there's something you've already energized, but you want more up, just add more energy to it because you have an endless supply. There's almost more. So just go for it. That's right. There you go. Beautiful. Take your time and just keep reallocating that. Keep pulling out those battery packs from the things that no longer serve you, slamming it into the parts of your personality, of your persona that you want more of. Beautiful. And when you know it's done, just take a deep breath in and bathe yourself in all that radiance of those tall, beautiful statues, all the things you really love about yourself. And then feel all those changes cementing into place. That's right. Feel that all you wanted to get rid of is gone, and only the new you remains energized and synergized. I'd also like you to realize that you can come back here anytime you want to. And just by using this simple process you already know now, by stepping into it, pulling out these batteries and put them where they belong, you can customize this in any way you want, anytime you want, in the way that works just for you. That's right, Elena. Doing good. Good job, Marcia. That's right. Beautiful. You've all done fantastic. So in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And when I reach the number 5, you'll emerge from this process, bringing all of these beautiful transformations with you. That's right. Head clear, mind clear, thinking and acting with calm self-assurance and feeling good all over and glad to be alive. That's right. Number 1, feel yourself returning to this place we call reality, bringing with you a brand new reality, a brand new persona, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, renewed. That's right. Number 2, all of the suggestions, all the changes that you've made to your other than conscious mind are now 10 times more powerful, 100 times more permanent, and 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, satisfying than ever before. Embraced and held and locked into that part of your neurology, mind, body, and soul. That's right, beautiful. Number 3, always at least 3 ways to overcome any obstacle, any situation or circumstance that you might face in life. Always at least 3 solutions to any problem you need to solve. And your other than conscious mind will now easily, effortlessly, seamlessly, and automatically generate those solutions and implement them in the quickest, easiest, most effective way for the good of yourself and the good of all involved. Number 4, because it's all for you. You've done the work, you followed the instructions, you made the journey, you tested the result, and you have earned those rewards. And it's your right to keep them. It's your reality. It's your truth. It's your life. And you can live it to the fullest, fully empowered. Beautiful. On the next count, the count of 5, ready to thrive and feeling alive. Number 5, come back to this reality at the rate and speed to ensure all these changes are cemented in. Simply take your time, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and notice how different you feel. You're muted, Marcia. You can just give people some time to get back. I don't know if Patter's even going to come back. Oh, he's about ready for a nap.
Just thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes. All these processes you can use at any time. And know when you visualize, when you have these things like these statues, it might seem silly and childish to your conscious mind. But no, this is how your subconscious mind, how your other than conscious mind, how you communicate with it. It's a different language, right? We get in touch with the feelings. It's these constructs that, your conscious mind's like, what's all this about? Statues and squares on the wall? Trust me, your other than conscious mind knows exactly what we're talking about. And if it were as easy as just changing your thoughts and being all mature about it, it wouldn't be so hard to change the subconscious mind. right? We need to use a different language. It's by visualizing. It's these metaphors that seem silly to the conscious mind. The subconscious mind exactly knows what to do. It understands when you take power away of something that no longer serves you and you repurpose that energy to something that serves you, your other than conscious mind knows exactly what that is all about and does those changes. Right? That's great. But is there anything they want to share? Elena, you were pretty active there also in the gray room. I loved it. I saw you yawning a lot. That's a really good sign. That's a typical sign that you're in a different state of consciousness, that you're accessing that deeper part of yourself. In the beginning, when I learned how to do this, it would freak me out. It's like, oh man, I'm putting people to sleep. And then my teacher's like, one of the big signs of trance is like when people start yawning. I'm like, oh, awesome. Beautiful. We'll have the recording also on the in the membership section, so you can always go and do these again, right? I mean, I highly recommend. We started off with the gray room, which is about clearing that negativity. And sometimes you might not notice it until days later. Something happens that used to really like get you going or used to really bother you. And you're like, huh, this stuff doesn't bother me anymore. Why is that? I don't underestimate the simplicity of it. I mean, it's really powerful. And definitely when, like with the gray room, when you're changing things that you might not even be aware of what's holding you back. And that's not important. A lot of people are like, I don't know what the square is about. Doesn't matter. Your other than conscious mind knows. And it knows when you give it the right instructions, when you give it the right metaphors, and you give it the right framework to make changes, and you get very clear about what you want, it's easy to rewire it. It doesn't have to be hard. Right? It's like a misconception. We believe we have to work hard and put effort in and be serious about it. No, the more playful we get, the more we get the body engaged in it, the more you visualize it, the more real it becomes. Like the faster the changes go in and the deeper they go into your unconscious mind. Right? Is it great? Anybody have any questions about this or any comments or anything they'd like to ask?
I'll just say that when I first got on, I felt like something had really hurt my feelings. And the whole
Mm-hmm.
time you were talking, I was aware of it. And that went away, pretty quickly. And then I
Mm-hmm.
became aware of this deep thing and right around my navel.
Yeah.
And it felt like something from my infancy that
Mm-hmm.
was there. And I can feel it's still processing a little bit.
Yes.
It's like a deep soreness that I didn't have it. I didn't even know was there. That yeah, it's just coming out.
That's beautiful, Elena. You bring up some beautiful points. One of them is it's really like peeling back the layers of the onion. And oftentimes that's why I always start with that general negativity clearing, because things might be consciously bothering us. And when they go, we oftentimes become aware of deeper issues that are underlying that. And as you peel those away, you might also notice that those feelings might get more subtle. And, it's just like, wow, I never felt this before. Because it's this thing right on top of it that's been getting all of our attention because it screams the loudest. But from my experience, the more, versed you get into this and the deeper you go, it becomes more subtle. Don't think that subtle means less impact. Subtle is always running below the threshold of our awareness. It's shaping our life, it's affecting our life in ways that we're usually not aware of because they're typically below the surface of our waking like awareness. But these are the things that really affect our life because we're not aware of them. That's why we're clearing the brush first, and we're getting rid of all these things so we can actually notice things that are underneath, that are connected to that are at the root of that. The other good point you brought up, like something from your childhood. Well, guess what? All this stuff, all the things that hold us back, typically when I end up doing regression with somebody, I'd say in about 95% of the cases, we end up somewhere between 0 and 5 or 7 years old. And when I say 0, I'm not talking about the day you were born. I'm talking about in the womb. A lot of like our limiting beliefs, the things that hold us back, our traumas, actually happen while we're still in the womb, because you're already conscious, but in a different way. You're connected, you're one with your mother. And whatever your mother goes through or whatever your mother experiences, it becomes a belief for you. This is why you can never get those things with talk like therapy, because the issue started before your conscious mind, your sense of self as a separate entity was even developed. So that's why it's really good, if you have a counselor and say, how does that make you feel? But then the issue we make is like, oh, now can you give that a place, or can you figure it out? You can't get there in the mind. You have to stay with the feeling and resolve it at that level. And that's where you get resolution. I'm telling you, 95% of what holds people back between 0 and 5, because that's where our beliefs are formed. And going back into that feeling like you just did, and you felt the feeling underneath it, that's where it's at. And don't try to analyze it. That's where most people get stuck. What does this mean? How did it start? How did this get there? It does not matter. If you can get to the feeling and process it. I remember when I first started working with Patter, he was like, oh, I want to get some insight on this. Like, why is this feeling there? I was like, dude, trust me on this. Like, do not try to understand it, because it's not going to go away. It works the other way around. You clear and you process the feeling, then the insight comes if you need it. Right? How many times did we go through that? Yeah. Every single time he's like, but I really want to get this. Like, I want to know where this is coming from. It's like, you're not going to get there, because these things were formed before you had this logical reasoning. That starts at a later age, when you start going to school, right? When maybe like 6, 7 years old. And like first, like when we are born, we're like a blank hard drive. And we just take in everything from our environment, from our parents, from our grandparents, from the kids around us, from society. And that's going to start shaping then our personality, right? And then what happens? Now we have all these feelings. Oh, Nico, you cannot be mad. You cannot be sad. So what do we start doing? We start suppressing those feelings. I cannot be this. I got to be happy. I got to be this. I cannot be mad. So we stuff certain things away and we force ourselves to be it a different way. Because when you're a child, you depend on your authority figures. You cannot think. I remember first time I tried to run away from home when I was like 5 years old. And my dad was like, where are you going to go to? He's like, you cannot take care of yourself. And I was so mad because I knew he was right. I just wanted him to like hear me, right? That I had this feeling. And then you get to school. And then what did they tell you? Yeah, oh, you cannot behave this way. You cannot feel this. You have to be this way. And then, our emotional body kind of gets locked in. And then what do they teach us? Everything's rational and mental. You got to think your way out of things. And that's then where the disconnect comes. Because all these feelings, it's the subconscious mind. It communicates through feelings. The conscious mind communicates through thoughts. And I know I've repeated this a lot, but you cannot hear this enough. And you can say, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy. And you can do this affirmation. And then you feel this yucky feeling in your body somewhere. Yeah, no, you're not worth that. That is your unconscious mind telling you how you really feel. That is your true belief, is in that feeling. Unless you get to that feeling and process that, you cannot power your way through it with your mind. Because the unconscious mind is like with the iceberg, it's what's under the water. We focus only on the thoughts. What is above the water, they have no power to change. Where's that iceberg going to go? It all depends on the currents below it. And where the part that is below the water, that is going to determine where you're going to end up in your life and what can come to you. And it's all based on what you believe that you're like worth of and that what you can do. And you don't know that through thoughts. That explains itself through feelings, right? That's how it makes itself known. So the secret is really in the feelings. If you want to change, you want to be with the feelings. You want to transform the feelings because now you're really, transforming the deeper part of yourself. So in life, right? So often we are in conversations and we're always thinking, what am I going to say next? And how am I going to respond to that? And what should I tell to this person? Start paying more attention to your feelings because your feelings tell you what your true beliefs are about the situation. That is the unconscious mind communicating with you. So the more you get in tune with those feelings and you process those, that's when the progress really starts happening. And I'm speaking from experience because I had to go through this a lot to transform all those underlying feelings. But with this process, like you're well on your way, and we have other ones in the membership section that you can use to where you can start transforming. And you'll notice once you really start picking up some momentum with this, and Elena, once you start peeling back those layers and you get to some of those deeper ones, it's really freeing. Because so many times, like, people try to change their thoughts and how they're thinking, it doesn't really work. From my experience, if you are able to transform a feeling, oftentimes like 100 or 1,000 thoughts just go with it, because that's where they're all anchored in. And all of that, the beauty of it is like when you start with the body and you point to where you're feeling, that's your access point. Where you feel that feeling in your body, that's where it's stored. You're like a blank hard drive, and that's where the record is. And the moment you get to that feeling and you use the magic frame or the spinning or the color breathing or the gray room, whatever you want to use to transform that feeling, the thoughts, they will go with it, right? You have to understand that the thoughts, the conscious thoughts, they're what got you into this mess. They're not going to get you out of it, right? We have to go into that deeper part of yourself. Great. You guys all did amazing. Does anybody have any questions or any comments or? All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much for participating. And thank you for changing, how you feel. Know that you're changing the world. Know that people in the world treat you the way you feel about yourself. Right? So if you want to change that, you want to change how you feel about yourself, because people unconsciously pick up on it and they'll put it back to you as a mirror. So please don't go punch the mirror, but see where the signal is coming from that's being projected back at you, right? And that's in the feeling. All right. Thank you, everybody. Love you very much. And
Nico, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nico.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
Pattern. Bye, everyone.